This morning on Twitter, I saw that comedian Jerry Stiller passed away at 92, and I've felt compelled to make a video on it in tribute to him. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions, Entertainment, and Media. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, as you know, this particular channel is dedicated to entertainment and media topics of all kind. And, so this morning I saw on my Twitter feed that comedian Jerry Stiller passed away at the age of 92. So I just wanted to shoot a short video just in tribute to Mr. Stiller, because as I'll describe, I'm a fan of his work, and even though I only did see a little piece of it, but I'm a fan of his work, and as I'll describe, I've continued to watch some of his work on YouTube, even years later after it was originally taped. So Jerry Stiller passed away at 92. I don't know the details of why he passed away. I mean, for a man, that's a pretty long life. So he lived a long life. And I can't tell you much about his life prior to the Jerry Seinfeld Show. And I can't tell you much about his life other than he was Ben Stiller's father. The only work I knew of Jerry Stiller's, well, actually, I know that he was in Seinfeld because I watched that pretty religiously when it first came out, and then when it went into syndication. But I also know that he was on The King of Queens afterwards, and I didn't really watch that as much. But so most of what I know about his work was from the Jerry Seinfeld Show. So a quick story about Seinfeld. I didn't watch Seinfeld when it first came out. I was a teen, and like a lot of TV shows like MTV's The Real World, I got turned on to it by my older brother Amal. And on Thursday nights, my brother would be in the living room watching Jerry Seinfeld, just rolling, just laughing at what was going on. And, as being curious to see what he was laughing about, I would go into the living room and watch it with him, and I saw what he was laughing at. And there was, those of you who are unfamiliar with Seinfeld, there was some very unique and creative humor on that show by the vast cast of characters. And I think that it was, some of the concepts and the jokes that they made hadn't been made before. But one of the characters that was most notable in the show was George Costanza's quirky dad, Frank. And Frank was married to Estelle Costanza, who was played by Estelle Harris. So Frank Costanza and Estelle Costanza, they were combined with George, they were just a colossal comedic team. And so what made Frank and Estelle so great was they were both quirky characters, but the way they played off each other, Frank was always yelling at her. She had this high-pitched, whiny voice. So she was always complaining at him, and they both collectively embarrassed George. And there were some instances where George had to move back home with them, and in many instances, George was embarrassed of them when he went out in public with them. In some instances, to have dinner with his fiancée Susan's family. So just the chemistry between those three and then the chemistry between Frank and some of the other characters was very, very funny. What made Frank Costanza great, what made Jerry Stiller's work there great, was just the way Frank looked and dressed himself up for that character, the belligerence of the character. I think he captured that New York City belligerence. The voice. We're moving to the Boca Vista. You know, he had this almost this growl that he spoke with, and he almost spoke as though he was yelling. He was always yelling, and he had this kind of growling, yell type voice, and it was the physical comedy as well in some of the scenes. So the voice, the belligerence, the physical comedy, and just there were so many classic, memorable clips of Frank Costanza with the other characters, and I've listed off some here. There was the scene where he was discussing the cup sizes of a bra with George. I think my favorite is the silver dollar. You know, when I was young, I had a silver dollar. That's one of my favorite clips. The times when he confronted George Steinbrenner, there was an episode where it was suspected that George Costanza passed away, and so Mr. Steinbrenner, and we only saw the back of Mr. Steinbrenner's head. So Mr. Steinbrenner went to visit the Costanzas, and he's talking to them about George's passing away and how good of a worker George was, and Frank tunes all that out and just says, what did you trade Jay Buhner for? There was the Bro versus the Man's Ear with Kramer. They both came up with this idea for a male bra. There was Del Boca Vista. Jerry's parents moved to Del Boca Vista, and they did not particularly like the Costanzas, and the Costanzas suspected that and plotted to move to Del Boca Vista just to spite the Seinfelds. And so there's actually a compilation of the best Frank Costanza clips that I sometimes to this day go back and watch just because they're so funny. And I'm going to leave that in the description box below. And those clips that I listed off, those are just some of them. And there are others in all those seasons that they taped the Seinfeld Show. Oh, I forgot, there's the Stop Short. No one stops short with Estelle besides me. So I just wanted to make this, short tribute video to Jerry Stiller. He did some very memorable work on the Jerry Seinfeld Show, and that was just the Jerry Seinfeld Show. I'm sure he did other stuff before that, and he was in the King of Queens after that. So rest in peace, Jerry Stiller, and let me know if you have any Jerry Stiller stories of your own or favorite clips or memories of your own in the comment section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.